Rolling Stones against the Beatles is a topic of discussion that is widely held. Those who are fans of rock music are greatly moved by it. Everyone has their own preference, and they tend to be pretty adamant about it. The year 1963 was the year that Lennon and McCartney had a chance encounter with Andrew Loog Oldham, the manager of the Stones. While the Stones were still struggling to gain their foothold in the rock music scene at the time, the Beatles were working their way up the rock ranks continuously. There was a period when the band's friendly competition was genuine, despite the fact that currently, the bands do not necessarily contribute to the fueling of that fire. In the early 1960s, John Lennon and Paul McCartney collaborated on a record for the Rolling Stones, which marked the beginning of their intertwined careers as a band of musicians. Take a look at that tale down below. Oldham had almost literally bumped into Lennon and McCartney as they stepped out of a cab. Bill Janovitz wrote in Rocks Off 50 tracks that tell the story of the Rolling Stones. Oldham had also been a member of the Rolling Stones. He extended an invitation to them to arrive at the studio where the Stones were practicing. The two completed what had been a draft of an idea that had been conceived by McCartney, and then they gave it to the Stones for their single. I Want to Be Your Man was the name of the popular song in question. The Stones were the first to release the up-tempo music, despite the fact that the Beatles would later release their own version of the song. It was not only beneficial in terms of establishing the band in England, but it also started to differentiate them from the other mop tops in the industry. When compared to the Beatles' rendition of the song, the Stones' rendition is a little more aggressive. The pattern would be maintained throughout the entirety of both of the band's respective tenures. There was just enough of a difference between them to provoke the inquiry. Is it the Rolling Stones or the Beatles who are more outstanding? The Stones, despite the resemblance, do not reject the fact that the Beatles were instrumental in helping them get their start in the music industry. There is a possibility that the Stones would not have achieved the kind of success that they have without the song, I Want to Be Your Man.